In this video, we will show you how to assemble and position your drum kit. Our goal is to have each piece of the kit comfortably accessible for you to play at any time, and to have everything sounding its best. The drum kit isn't so much one instrument, as it is several smaller instruments that we play at the same time. So that means that setting everything up takes a bit of time and patience. But once you get the hang of it, setting up and tearing down your kit is a breeze. Another point to note is that every drum kit is slightly different in how it goes together and what each piece looks like. The kit you'll be seeing me set up today is typical of most drum kits. Before we begin, let's go over a couple of key pieces of terminology. The wooden body of a drum is called the shell. On the open end of each shell are wooden or metal rings called hoops. Stretched under these hoops are drum heads, also often referred to as drum skins. The skin on the side you hit is called the batter head. The one on the other end is called the resonant head. The resonant head helps with tone production and overall volume of the drum. The collection of metal bits attached to the drums, stands, and pedals are collectively known as hardware. The assembly that attaches the top hi-hat cymbal to the stand is called the clutch. The mallet on the end of the kick drum pedal is the beater. The chair that you sit on is referred to as the throne, because as we all know, drummers are royalty. First, let's set up the kick drum. I would recommend setting this drum up on a small rug. This prevents the drum from sliding while playing and also protects your floor from scratches. The kick drum has 2 feet which splay out to keep the resonant head side of the drum off the ground. The pedal attaches to the hoop of the batter head side with a clamp like this. Be sure to attach the pedal tightly enough so that it stays put, but not so tight that it damages the hoop. Once it's attached, be sure the pedal's beater can easily contact the skin when you push it down. The rack tom usually mounts above the kick drum. Tightening these lugs will keep the drum in place. Angle the tom towards you so that you can comfortably hit it while seated. The floor tom has 3 or 4 legs that extend to allow the drum to rest on the floor. This drum is positioned to the right-hand side of the kick drum. As with the rack tom, we want to make sure that we can easily hit the batter head from where we will be seated. The snare drum has a dedicated stand that grips the hoop on the resonant head side of the drum. Extend the legs on the bottom to allow the stand to rest on the floor. And then open the snare side so that the drum can easily sit in the basket. To tighten the stand's grip on the snare, turn this wheel so that the rubber bumpers contact the hoop. Once it is tight enough, you should be able to lift the snare drum with the stand still securely attached. Be careful not to over-tighten it, as you can damage the hoop. Once assembled, the snare sits directly in front of you between your legs. Make sure that the snare is high enough that you do not hit your leg with your hand while playing the drum. The hi-hat stand has 2 or 3 legs that extend to contact the floor and is positioned to the left of your snare drum. Be sure that the legs and pedal are both contacting the floor, otherwise the stand may become unstable. Slide the bottom cymbal over the rod like this. We are now going to attach the clutch to the top cymbal. Unscrew it, then reassemble it with the cymbal sandwiched between the felts. Make sure this assembly is good and tight. Slide the clutch down the rod until the two cymbals contact each other. Press the foot pedal on the hi-hat stand down slightly, then tighten the lug on the clutch. You should now be able to open and close the hats with the pedal. The legs of the crash and ride cymbal stands deploy in the same way as our snare stand. Make sure the legs are spread wide enough to keep the stand balanced once the cymbal is on. To secure the ride and crash cymbals to their stands, unscrew the lug at the top of the stand and remove the top felt. Place the cymbal on the stand, then replace the felt and retighten the lug. The ride cymbal is positioned to your right, around 1 o'clock, and the crash is usually on your left at around 10 or 11 o'clock. Your ride cymbal stand may have a boom assembly. This allows it to extend over your drums for easier access. Adjust this so that it is in a comfortable position, but make sure that the stand is well balanced. Otherwise, the stand could fall over while you are playing. Last but not least, the throne. The legs are set up the same way as our snare stand. The height is adjustable, either with a lug or by spinning the throne. Once you're sitting on it and your feet are on the pedals, your knees should form a 90-degree angle or greater. Your left foot should be able to reach the hi-hat's pedal without needing to stretch, and the same goes for your right foot on the kick drum pedal. Being too high or too low on the throne can affect the way you play. Try out a few different heights to see which works best for you. Now that we have our kit set up, let's look at where we place our feet and the proper way to hold our sticks. Place your foot such that your toes are near the top of the pedal, but not so close that your feet might contact the moving parts. When you use the kick pedal, make sure that your heel is slightly elevated. Keeping your heel up allows for greater control of the kick pedal. When you press down, use the ball of your foot, all while keeping your heel elevated. Your whole right leg should be moving slightly, and your foot should not come off the pedal while playing. Everything we mentioned here about the kick drum pedal also applies to your left foot on the hi-hat pedal. To hold a drumstick, pinch it between your index finger and your thumb, about 1/3 of the way from the bottom. Your other 3 fingers are then going to wrap around the drumstick lightly. Make sure not to grip the stick too tight. We want the stick to be able to rock back and forth in our hand while we're playing. This lets the stick bounce naturally off the drumhead or cymbal so that we are immediately ready for the next hit. In the next video, we will be discussing some basic theory terms and how they apply to playing the drums.